Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me again. It's TeaRon. That's TeaRon, period. And it's another Tuesday movie review. Only this time I got the itis. and I'm sure this person does too. I am here with...
Hey, everybody. It's Tiera Janee. I'm back. And I, too, have a little bit of the itis. But for the people who are not in the States, you may not know what the itis is. Right?
Listen, you may not call it that, but you know what it is.
You had it. You have had it.
You know that feeling when you eat too much, especially if it's something that's good, it tastes good, but it's bad for you.
Savory.
And you have that feeling where it's like, oh, I have to lay down. Oh gosh. That's the feeling.
Yes.
We are post Thanksgiving. Tiera, how was your Thanksgiving?
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. My Thanksgiving was so chill. It was so relaxing. I didn't really do Thanksgiving this year. I did Friendsgiving a couple days ago with friends, so that was nice. But when Thanksgiving got here, baby, I was tired. I've been working. I got a lot going on, so
Fair.
I spent the day to watch movies for us to review and do nothing. It was beautiful. How about you?
I also opted out of Thanksgiving, the gatheration of the thing. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I had the whole thing, the auto accident and stuff, and my mind wasn't really trying to be, doing the whole community thing. But there was food.
The best part, yes.
The best part.
Yeah.
So I did eat good, which is why I'm feeling like I'm feeling, and I'm gonna eat good again after this.
Leftovers, the way that the leftovers hit because the seasonings sit for longer. Oh, baby, I'm so ready for these leftovers. So let's get into this review so I can get into these leftovers, please. Thank you.
Listen. Mouth over here watering.
Listen, let's do this. Yes.
Well, speaking of mouth watering fun. Today we take it back a little bit in terms of touching the nostalgic bone in our bodies. We are going to be reviewing Good Burger 2. I think that is a no-brainer. We kind of have to do this, not only for the fact that, again, this is our whole childhood, Tiera, but also it's Keenan and Kel, and we got to put some respect on their name.
Or as my grandmother used to lovingly call them, Keenan and Kel. Y'all in there watching Keenan and Kel.
Tiera, you said growing up that the original Good Burger you fondly remember it. I do also fondly remember it, but I think you probably knocked me out of the park. I just remember those big Mondo burgers. I remember the Insane Asylum, all the shenanigans of the time.
Yes.
And also I think it was something that really stuck with us because that crew, as far as the cast who were on the original film, were also people we were watching every day.
Yes.
Anyway, like they were all the kids that you saw on all that, and it just felt right. The movie was a hit for kids in the 90s.
Oh my gosh.
And
such a hit.
They're trying to carry some of that magic for the now parents from that era to share with their kids.
And like you said, the kids that it starred in the 90s were our influencers. They were influencers before influencers were a thing. I mean, we're talking Keenan and Kel. We're talking Lori Beth Denberg. We're talking Shar Jackson. I mean, Sinbad. Not that he was an influencer, but you know what I mean? Like people like you said that we watched so often and were so relatable to us. So while, yes, they were playing characters in this movie, these were people that we knew. We watched
very familiar.
And I think for me, what stands out a lot about Good Burger is the lead up to it. I remember like the marketing prior to the movie coming out. And of course, at the time I was a child, I didn't know what marketing was, but I just remember it being like the commercials. I remember like seeing interviews. I remember like always like And I watched Nickelodeon all the time because, of course, right? We were kids.
They made it a big to do.
It was a big to do, and it came out in the summer. I'll never forget that because I'm a summer baby, as are you. And it came out like July-ish, I want to say. And I remember it being a big, big deal. And then partially, probably because I was watching a lot of TV because I was home because it was summertime. So I mean, it was like perfectly timed by Nickelodeon. I mean, just so like well rolled out. Even then, it had celebs in it that adults at the time would have been familiar with. So like a Sinbad, Carmen Electra, like they had those celebs in it at the time. And so now, like you said, it just like us seeing familiar characters and other celebs. I'm just so excited to talk about Good Burger too. I know I say this about everything, but I'm really excited about this one.
I'm glad you are. Because you're gonna have to hold my hand.
Here we go.
Through this journey.
Here we go.
You know, when you come with a sequel, you know, over like 20 years later to something that is such a staple for, again, another era, right? So you have these fond memories, and the thing about having a sequel is that you don't want to taint those memories by ruining a legacy. So there's a tall order there to live up to, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that anybody in our age group, you know, it's not their fault. We went into it with a certain mindset, whether we wanted to or not, because these are our childhood, you know, heroes and good memories, you know what I mean? So I think that they had a lot to live up to. Did they live up to it is the question. That's what we're going to discuss here today. Tiera, let's get into Good Burger 2. Let's check out the trailer for Good Burger, and then we'll be right back with our review.
Oh, sorry. The new adventures of Ed and Dex starts now! It really means a lot that you came to see me. Well, you're my best friend.
We're going to be opening mega Good Burgers in cities all over the world.
You just got hustled. Whoa. Megacorp wants to replace everybody with robots. We gotta do something.
We're going to change the world.
Here's your burger.
Walk me through Good Burger 2. First and foremost, how did you go into it? Were you able to go into it with a clear and free mind, or were you like, okay, let's see what we're picking up from? You know what I mean?
A little bit of both. I gotta be honest. I didn't even see the trailer for this before watching it. I just knew it was happening. I have a sister chat with my sisters, and we talked about it in our sister chat, and one of them mentioned it, and so that's how I knew. I honestly did not even see the trailer. I didn't even need to see the trailer. I just knew both Keenan and Kel signed on. I knew that both of them signed on for this, so I felt like if both of them agreed to do this, that this was going to be a win. Like that's how I felt. So it didn't even matter. So how did you feel about it?
Keenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell for a long time were synonymous, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
You think of those classic duos in Hollywood or in comedy and stuff like this. They were them, you know? They were Key and Peele way before, you know. They were the frickin' frack of their era.
Jesus and Mero, people like that.
You know, so you couldn't say one name without saying the other. You know what I mean? And they knew that there was no way that we could have gotten this had one of them chose not to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So it was actually really good to see them appear on screen together. And they took a while to get them together as far as when the movie started, but they knew they did it on purpose because they knew we were ready to finally see them doing their thing. But how does this movie start? Give us the rundown, the synopsis, and let's take it from there, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, y'all saw the trailer, but the quick synopsis is after his latest invention fails, Dex, so Dexter, that's Keenan's character, if you're not familiar, is welcomed back by Ed, who is, of course, Kel Mitchell, to his old job at Good Burger, which is like the staple of this whole thing, which is once again put in jeopardy when Dex devises a plan to get back on his feet. So we once again have Dexter pulling Kel into some mess, Kel being oblivious of the mess, and Dex being fully aware of what he is trying to get Kel to do. So it's the typical interactions
Pinky in the
between
brain kind of stuff.
Very pinky in the brain. It's that same formula, which I appreciated. Like they didn't make Kel some, I don't know, college professor, or they didn't make
they didn't make Kel anything. What they did, they just made Kel look like your auntie that was in recovery.
I was waiting on you to comment on that, and I was like, is this movie makeup? Is this like, what is it, just because he's older and we're not used to seeing him older? Like,
no, here's what it is. So fellas, you can relate to this. Kel had new mouth.
What does that mean?
He had new mouth. Basically, he shaved right before doing this role.
Okay, so that's like when y'all get that mannequin face. Y'all get mannequin face.
Yeah, the complexion wasn't.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was, and so they put makeup on top of that to like even it out, but it was still kind of coming through, and it looked wild. That, and it's been over 20 something years, and his hair didn't grow at all. Whatever.
No, he cut it.
He kept cutting it. Okay.
He kept cutting
I don't know who would keep cutting their hair into a mystical bob for that long. I just don't know. I just don't know.
Not a mystical bob.
I just don't know.
Okay.
But
well, I will say I was happy to see Kel on my screen again 20 years later.
Me too.
Now that you've explained what I call mannequin face, it makes sense to me now. You call it new mouth. I get it now. I see what's happening. Keenan, we see Keenan every week on SNL.
We see Keenan,
all the time, which is not a bad thing. I mean, he's been the longest running actor on SNL in history, which is phenomenal. So like,
it's wild.
It's so cool to hear Keenan. Yes, love to see Keenan. So I was excited to see both of them back on my screen. I think they both look great. I
was curious to figure out like how they were going to tie in Good Burger, having them being so much older now, and how we were going to get back to that, Mm-hmm. So I did like the idea that Dex had moved on and he was into his career, trying to invent a product and pitch it and do all these things. Ed did not move on at all. He just continued to progress, but the character Ed, obviously, the character Ed would have stayed there anyway.
I was gonna say he would not have progressed. Why would he? He did have a progression.
He was very happy. He did have a progression. It was just not outside of Good Burger, which again, it's an undertone, but I think that happens sometimes in life where someone's like, "Oh, I really like what I do," and they don't see the need to go beyond that. Correct. They found what they enjoy. And so we could have had them both ending up in a situation where they decided to go back, but we didn't have that. I thought that was interesting, because I just was like, how are we getting back to the restaurant? That's what I thought.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a beautiful theme, because, we see a lot of themes like, oh, you have to make all this money. You have to have riches. It has to be a rags to riches story for you to be happy or for you to have had success. And Ed didn't see life that way. He had success in his own way, and he found what worked for him. And meanwhile, Dex is still trying to push products and probably a scammer. And in my head, he's a scammer, but they're not going to say that on a Nickelodeon film, but he's a scammer. That's what's happening. He running numbers. Like, we know.
Here was my question with, so, there's a scene where Dex, he's trying to I guess save his hide. And he's trying to present that product for the thing for burning his house or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you done got to the point of, because it's Nickelodeon, so it's silly. You done got to the point of doing a presentation for these millionaires who would potentially invest in your product, with your company. You probably spent millions just to develop the product, right? And you didn't test the burning on something else first to make sure that it worked. You know what I mean?
But that's
It's
why
just
it gave
wild.
scam energy. I was like, oh yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
he does this all of the
He would-
get
he
rich
would-
quick
he-
schemes.
Exactly. His hand was itching. He
Yeah,
was like, "Ooh, I can get this money."
I
So
get
he
this money.
didn't test it, just burned up his own house.
Yep.
And then this is a movie, like most sequels that end up getting funded well, ended up being a huge cameo fest.
Yeah.
Which can be fun, but to me, it's like a cheap pop. But the first cameo we got was like Mark Cuban, from Shark Tank or whatever. But those cameos all throughout this movie.
Can we talk about Carmen Electra? Okay, because when I saw it, I was like, excuse me, ma'am, not you looking like it's 1995. Like, yeah. I don't know what's happening at Carmen Electra's house, but my God, I want whatever she.
Carmen Electra was that girl.
She was that girl, and she's still that girl in this movie. Like, she did a small cameo, and even in the last one, very much a small cameo. But like, to see her, I screamed. I literally screamed because I was like, "What?" I didn't know she was, and she looked great. So I love to see her. I love to see her in that. There were some cameos from some other folks who I thought were important. I thought it was nice. Again, it brought back the nostalgia, and it spoke to the original where we had all these cameos. There were so many cameos in the original. I mean, wasn't Shaq in the original at one point? Yes.
I don't remember.
He was, because he ordered a good burger, and I almost said Kel and Keenan. Ed and Dex took it to Shaq. Yes. So, I mean, it really spoke to that. So I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at it. Mm-mm.
I was, because what you're not going to do, and you know, I say this all the time, what you're not going to do is play in my face.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Y'all had the budget. Why was Shar Jackson not just in the film? We know that her character in the first movie worked at Good Burger as well. She didn't have to necessarily be working at Good Burger, but she could have walked in just like we saw with Lori Beth, who, by the way, when she came on, I was like, yes, I just love Lori.
Me too. I love seeing her. I want to see her more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also with people coming into the restaurant, you know, it was callbacks to the original skits that started the whole thing. You know, you come into the restaurant, make an order. Here's someone who's behind the counter that just is aloof and messes up the order and stuff like this. Every time. So I did enjoy that. But yeah, why couldn't she just come into the restaurant in that fashion? You know, and happen to see both of them there, like, oh my gosh, anything. Because they ended up showing her in the little clips later.
I guess in my mind, and I don't know this to be true, I just chalked it up to COVID. I was like, did they film this during COVID? And it was like, all right, we're going to send the camera over to people. And not even.
No, there's no way.
Okay.
There's no way because they shot everything else. And those crowded people at the party and all that stuff.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Like I said, I didn't look it up. I just chalked it up to COVID because I was like, okay, they can't get everybody. So COVID.
No, it was a callback. Like, the joke of the scene was a callback to, if you remember, during COVID, there were some actors who were singing John Lennon's Imagine song.
Yeah.
And they were sort of passing the mic on to each other kind of thing.
That's what I thought we were doing.
No, that was the joke, but this wasn't that.
Okay. Well, fair. All right. Well, I will say the cameo did make me think of another sequel that you made me watch that I did not enjoy. Coming to America 2.
Yeah.
Because again, we're talking budget, and those people, you know, they were in the film. Like, they weren't like this, you know, video, whatever. So it actually did make me think of that. And I was like, okay, well, I see what we're doing here. We're trying to have callbacks to the people, but at least in that,
it was a cheap pop. Yeah. It was a way to get like a quick out of somebody instead of giving us the real thing.
It worked.
Let's talk about some of the cast of characters that are now working at the restaurant. Of course, Good Burger is a fast food joint. People come and go at those jobs, you know, all the time. So it was only right to kind of have a whole new cast of characters this time around. I'm going to be honest with you, T. None of them stood out to me.
I liked Mr. Jensen. I thought he was cute. I thought that was funny.
I enjoyed the shenanigans that the older lady got into.
You would.
Because I thought that was, funny or whatever. But
you would. Because in the original, they had the older man.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Who's
So I thought that I like that they did that. I like that Mr. Jensen, who they speak about him because he's the manager, and they talk about him. Oh, Mr. Jensen, that, and you assume that he's older because in the original the manager was older because they were teenagers at the time. But in this one, Mr. Jensen's like what 20, 21, and I just thought that was so funny. Like I didn't expect that. I thought that was a cute little twist on it because, and then. I almost said Keenan again. Dexter, aka Keenan, is like, this is Mr. Jensen. So I like that. But other than him, excuse me. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Because see, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. They did also another cheap cameo was with Josh from All That.
I know it.
They find, and he's someone who, if we saw him, it would have been like, oh, this is great. Because again, part of our childhood, someone we watched growing up. And they find him in the freezer.
I really think it's going to make so much money. Fizz!
How long was I in there for?
About 22 years, give or take.
And
they do.
And he's been in the freezer for 20-something years. And they just thaw him out with the hot light, of course it's for kids, it's silly. But at the same time, I was let down because I'm like, okay, he's been in there this whole time. Pull him out, bring him out the freezer so we can enjoy this movie. You know what I mean?
I do. I knew when I saw that part.
It would have been better for me if they said, and I'm gonna have to bleep this out, but if they decided to say, them kids, we're gonna make this movie for the big kids, it would have been a lot more fun. Because when they finally get into going out, getting into shenanigans in the Burger Mobile, and all those things, it could have just been Josh in there with them. I keep saying Josh. I think, what's the character's name?
His name is Josh, though, right?
Fizz.
Yeah,
Fizz. And he could have just joined them again if they had Shar come in and happen upon the restaurant or what. They could have all just been grown kids doing the thing. You know what I mean? It just would have been better.
I agree. I have to agree. I did enjoy this, but I agree. Because the children of today, they're not going to have, obviously not going to have the appreciation or the excitement about this film that we had. And I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right. It could have been an adult film that had kids in it. So yeah, we got 16-year-olds working at Good Burger, fine. But if it's, Keenan and Kel going on shenanigans, them could have been adult shenanigans, and they could have got into adult troubles, but it still could have been in that vein. Ed could have still been Ed. I think it would have been great. And Keenan could, I think it was a missed mark there. And I don't know if that is because it was funded by Paramount, who was, where Nickelodeon lives.
They're trying to make it appeal to also a younger audience too. But in all honesty, they have enough of us that we would have watched it anyway, and we probably would have enjoyed it that much more. Yeah, had they just catered more to the millennial audience, to be honest.
You know what? I'm looking at I'm sitting here looking at the cover art, and I'm like, this could even be like a stoner movie. Like this could have even been a stoner film. Like think about it.
It's Nickelodeon, Tiera.
It's true, but just looking at this,
I mean, technically, Good Burger is a stoner.
It's a stoner film. It's about eating burgers and fries and shakes, hanging with your homies. You know what you're right.
Instead of smoking and stuff, they're edibles, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And it's already set in LA. It's set it actually would have been. And then you get Fizz out, excuse me, and then he's a part of the shenanigans. We could have gone another direction with this, but fine. Maybe me and you could make our own version and then get sued by Paramount.
And then also Ed's family. So we learned that Ed has 7, 8 kids or whatever.
Did you know this before you watched it? Did you know?
No.
I didn't either. When they introduced,
I didn't know he was going to be a father at all in this.
I didn't know because I didn't watch the trailer. So when they introduced the son, and I won't spoil it for y'all, but when they introduced his son, I gasped because I was like, I love every part of this because it never dawned on me that Ed would be somebody's father.
Our newest trainee, my son.
Well, if it isn't Ed, too.
Look, instead of eyebrows, I got fry brows. Actually, they're just regular fries. I glued them on my face.
And
Exactly.
then his son being exactly like him.
Ed ain't that stupid.
Okay.
Because he has said make kids.
And then the setup for it, when they showed Carmen Electra, like that, I was like, okay, that's an adult. That's an adult.
And every kid was named like a ingredient for a burger.
Yeah, pickles.
Of course.
Ketchup. Yeah. I loved it. I thought that was so cool.
And little bun.
Little bun. I loved it.
And then the main kid was played by this kid. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. Alex R. Hibbert. He's been in a lot of stuff. I've seen this kid. I think he's a Nickelodeon kid.
Is he? Okay.
But he's been in a lot of things along the way. So he was very familiar to me as far as seeing him. And then of course, what is a movie without a villain?
Right.
Tiera.
Oh God. Mm-hmm.
We got a couple. In this case, we have a couple of villains. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Our first villain is the shyster business guy who is played by Lil Rel.
Why you say it like that?
Cause man, this man is everywhere, y'all.
He is. What you say earlier? You said he got a hell of an agent.
He got Lil Rel's agent be working. You understand what I'm saying?
And does.
And his goal is he's been approaching Ed for a long time about selling and franchising Good Burger, which sounds like an overall good deal. But again, what I just say, Ed got how many kids? He ain't that stupid. Ed was not willing to let go and sign over Good Burger to be franchised at all. Okay. Until Dex comes back and gets his job back at Good Burger. It's at this point, Dex is like, oh, wait, this man offering you money?
Wait, like, is that your Lil Rel?
No, that's my
that's
Keenan. Oh man, this man offer you money.
Oh yeah, that's it.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I hear it.
So Keenan basically, honestly, Keenan is a villain in this too. Now that I'm thinking about it, he's probably more villain than the villains because Keenan basically knows that Ed is loyal to Dex 10 toes down, right? And literally Ed tells him, he's like, because you suggested it, I'll sign the papers.
He trusts him so wholeheartedly.
So
even
much.
He shaded him
and
in the
Dex
last
knows
movie.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Dex knows that. And so, Dex is the actual villain in this. Now I'm thinking about it.
It's true.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Because none of this would have happened had he not abused his position, knowing like, oh, he's loyal to me or I can get him to do anything. He knew.
Same thing with the Ed sauce. That's how we got here in the first one. The same thing with the Ed sauce.
Ah, you're right. It's always a scheme. It's always a scheme with him. So
that's why I told you he is a scammer. Y'all said he was an investor. I said, no, he is a scammer. I know a scammer when I see one.
He be trying to come up. And are we supposed to let that slide? Is Dex likable? Now that I'm thinking about it, he's not that likable.
Dex is not likable. The only reason why we like Dex is because it's played by Keenan. If Dex was played by anyone else, we would not like Dex.
I just mean Dex as the character. Like, is that supposed to be a likable person?
Again, we only like it because
does he have any redeeming qualities?
No, he doesn't have a job. He's a scammer. He's a bad friend. He has not seen Ed in 5 years. He doesn't even know Ed has 7 children. Like, should I continue? Like, no. Dex is terrible. That's the worst type.
There's a young lady whose name I forget, but she's what's her name?
I don't know. Mia. Maybe I made
Mia. No, what's her? Hold on. There's a young lady that played Dex's niece in the film. Pull up her name. We'll mention it.
Trying, but I don't even see her.
She but she is, when Dex returns to Good Burger, he finds out that his niece is actually working there.
Oh, it is Mia. Look at me.
The character's name is Mia. What's the actress name?
They don't have a picture. That's the problem. Like, I don't see her in here. Kamaya Fairburn.
Kamaya Fairburn. Mm-hmm. Am I saying that right? Mm-hmm. But she plays Dex's niece. And the reason she's working at Good Burger is also because of Dex. We learned that Dex borrowed at some point in history that since we've not seen these characters, he's borrowed money from his sister to get rich quick. And he lost the money. And so now the daughter, who probably wouldn't have had to get a summer job or something, is working at Good Burger. Mm-hmm. And so she sees her uncle come in and start these shenanigans. I'm like, yeah, this guy's awful.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. Dex is awful. And then we get more cameos out of this. Again, there's more shenanigans, more cameos. We get Nicole Byer.
Yeah.
We get
which, I'm sorry, let me tap in
right. Go ahead.
The Nicole Byer, when we saw her character, in my mind, I was like, was this supposed to be Lizzo? And then I went down a rabbit hole in my head. I was like, did all the shenanigans come out and they were like, oh, it can't be Lizzo? Or then I was like,
it wasn't that. It was, yes, it is supposed to be, but also Nicole herself is like, pro Lizzo and all this stuff. And I'm sure she wanted to portray a Lizzo-like character for sure.
For sure.
And she got the chance to do it.
This is Lizzo. Okay.
Yeah. She got the chance to do it. And that's not just because of their body type and stuff like that. Let me be clear. It's the fact that I know from listening to Nicole Byer's podcast and her work, I know that this is something she wanted to do. She wanted to channel her inner Lizzo for sure. For sure. She would agree to that.
And even with the girls and the characters being like, oh my God, I love this artist. I can't remember the artist's name, but I love her. She thinks about positivity and da-da-da-da. I was like, okay, this is a Lizzo character. Okay. Yeah. Cute.
So, we get that. Who else we get in there?
You were saying Marseille Martin. I cut you off.
Yes. Marseille Martin, who just does one of the walk-in, to the restaurant skit things. We get a few other people, but again, most of those people were on that little video. That was trash.
George Clinton.
Yeah, but again, it was just on that little video. It was waste. And then let's get into our second villain. So, what happens as we lead up to the second villain, Tiera? The main villain.
The main villain turns out to be. We're introduced to the main villain through Lil Rel's character. So the Lil Rel character villain is the segue into what we're calling the main villain. Mm-hmm. She's writing the checks for Lil Rel because he's her lawyer. He's basically brokering the deal for this new wave
Mondo Burger takeover.
What was it called? Mega Burger? Megacorp?
Megacorp,
aka New Mondo Burger. It was them brokering the deal on their behalf, and we come to find out that she is the younger sister.
She who? She. You said she is. Who is she?
I'm getting there. What? Well, if you want to read it, you come on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You come right on and read it. No, she's the younger sister of the Mondo Burger owner. I forget his name. I keep wanting to say Craig, but it is not Craig. Or is it Craig?
I think it's Kurt.
Kurt, yes, not Craig. Kurt, yes, she's the younger sister of Kurt, who is apparently in jail now. So they slid that in there, which I thought was kind of funny and also a little strange. But yeah, so she's basically trying to get back for her brother, So she's trying to swindle in once again on the Good Burger name.
Say hello to the new owner of Good Burger.
That's right. It's me.
I have no idea who you are.
Yeah, you don't seem familiar.
It's my question the whole time I'm looking at this, something like this, is like, where the money coming from? Megacorp is a huge company because they got access to all the tech, all the things to do everything.
Everything.
Again, this was the movie trying to reach a new audience with the robots and the AI. And speaking of, I have an AI thing coming up, and they just really leaned into that a lot. So a lot of tech lingo. They want to modernize it. They even use one of the robo dogs that are really controversial in the film. Stuff like that. But it's nothing special here with this villain. It's a one-track minded villain. It's a kids movie, so that's what it is. Who basically is set out to take revenge and avenge her brother, who could not successfully take over or put Good Burger out of business in the first movie. So she's just trying to, avenge him. Some of the shenanigans they got into with that were fun. That's it for me.
I will say, have you ever seen like any of the documentaries about McDonald's and like how it came to be? Or there's actually a movie, I think.
Yeah.
I forget the main character's guy, but it's about McDonald's and how it came to be. And it actually this is exactly what happened. This guy came along, he had this new technology and was like, oh, we know how to revolutionize making burgers fast and getting orders out fast. Because before it was not a fast food thing. Like that was not, And so I kind of thought about that when I was watching it. And I was like, dang, like I know we're like, oh, AI. And I know we're like, it was used as kind of like to be a part of the times, as you were saying. But like low key, that's how McDonald's became McDonald's. They basically swindled like the owner into signing it over, and he didn't really have a clue what he was signing. He just loved his burger company so much. I'm paraphrasing, y'all. Look it up. But basically, that's what happened, and that's how McDonald's became McDonald's, and they were able to franchise because they were able to replicate the flavor, chemicals, and replicate, the process of making burgers and fries really fast. So like, I was like, dang, this is like actually what happens. I know it's a joke because it's a child's movie, it's a kid's movie, but like, no, y'all, this is actually a thing.
I think that from watching this, I think that there's two missing elements for me as a person. Number one, I think life has really happened to me. And I have some difficulty losing myself in some of this stuff. That's just one. The second thing is, I think that this movie would have been a lot more fun had I been a parent at this point. I think this is more so for those of us who grew up with this, who want to share this with our offspring. I ain't got none of them. So I did not enjoy this movie, but I also did not I didn't enjoy it that much.
Were there parts where you laughed? Like, were there lines that made you laugh or a little chuckle a little bit?
Probably like in the beginning when we're just kind of like getting started, and we meet Ed's family, some of those little moments or whatever. But once it actually got into the actual high speed chases and all this stuff, I was pretty much checked out from that point. Truly. I was done. I couldn't tell you what. At some point I remember looking up and seeing Keenan stuck. Dex stuck on like a tabletop with his niece, and they were trying to like not get burned or something like that. And I don't even know how they got there. And then at some point I saw there were like some Ed bots.
Yes.
Or the villain had a name for the bots, but I can't remember. it was something corny. But there was a lot of stuff that was happening, and I was like, how did we get here? And I realized it was from me mentally blacking out because I was already upset about the cheap cameos and them not really fully delivering on what could have been a real treat for us, the millennials.
Yeah. Well, they don't care about us. It's all about Gen Z and whoever's after that. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Just don't do any more. Is my
no. We don't need no.
We're done. We're done.
Don't give us nothing else. We are good. We're fine, guys. Actually, I'll go back and watch the original. We are fine, guys.
Yes.
All the way good. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So TeaRon, with that being said, please let us know. We're gonna wrap this up. What is your rating for Good Burger 2?
Well,
oh Lord.
Based on all the things that I said, again, I enjoyed the nostalgic moments. I enjoyed seeing Keenan and Kel on the screen together. I enjoyed seeing the burger mobile and stuff. I hate reunions that are not full reunions. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's something missing there. When we have so many people who participated in this to some degree, but it's like y'all just didn't want to fly them out for a day of shooting. That really bothers me.
I see.
It really bothers me. It could. I'm just saying, we know it's for the kids and stuff, but I really think they missed the mark by not catering more to the millennial audience that would have supported this and shared it with their kids regardless. I appreciated that it was true to the world that they created. It was still campy. It doesn't take itself serious. And those moments are fun. But yeah. And as I'm older now, I just realized, like, as we were doing this, Dex sucks. So for me, I'm going to have to give Good Burger 2 a Kevin Hart. Fun little time, but very little rewatchability for me. And also, once it was done, I was like, okay, that was it. And I just think that they could have really hit it home. What about you? Did you have fun with this? What do you rate it?
Yeah, so I did have a good time with this. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know if that's because the movie was fun. I just had fun because the nostalgia, the memories, the silliness of it all. It's not that like there's nothing about this that's serious. There is no like, let's add some political undertones or anything like that. Like we don't need that. Was just what it was. So I had fun. I did enjoy it. Like you said, I loved seeing Keenan and Kel together on screen again. Like that really, really warmed my heart. And I'm grateful that like we live in like a particular time where we can see that, right? Like these people that we grew up watching, they've gone on, lived their separate lives, had separate careers and separate things, but then they're able to come back together. Like I just love that. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that, Kel's getting a check. Like not that I know his pockets or nothing, but like get your check, because we know Keenan gets his checks. We know that. I'm happy that Kel got his check. I am happy they put respect on his name and the character that he created and didn't try to do some weird like remake of it and have someone else do the character. Like I really appreciated that. I will say the story got a little murky for me in the middle as well toward the end. Like at the beginning I was all in, I was excited. I loved seeing like, where are they now? Like I love that part about it. Story did get a little watered down for me. So yeah, I'm gonna say rewatchability, no. Will I rewatch the original? Yes. Another point I would like to make, the original had an amazing soundtrack. You and I have been talking about soundtracks a lot lately, and like it had that. I don't even know if this one had music in it. I don't even I cannot recall.
What?
But the original had music in it. Like it was so good. 702. Like, come on. Can we like so I'm gonna have to give this one a Jennifer Lewis. My heart. I can't.
Oh no. Wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt your rating.
It's okay.
But this did have the music in it. They had the Good Burger song, Give Good Burger Back, that everyone was singing, and it sucked.
Right. But nobody wants to hear that on a soundtrack. Would you go play that in the car?
No, of course
Exactly.
not.
Exactly.
Of
So the music wasn't like the original had George Clinton. Like it was like a good soundtrack. I mean, this here, it just wasn't giving. It didn't give. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Jennifer Lewis. I had fun. I'm happy that they did it. I wish it could have been an adult version. Kind of like, I don't know if you saw the Barbie movie. Did you see the Barbie movie?
I never saw it, no.
It is. It's a child theme because it's Barbie, right? But the movie is very much not for children. Not that
it knows that most of its audiences now are older.
Are grown. Yeah. And so they did a really good job of making it like, oh, kids can see it if they want, but this is for adults. And I'm with you.
I wish this was that.
This was that. Like they could have done a PG-13 and they could have had more, I think the funny would have been there if they had done it that way. But I'm happy they did it. I'm happy Kel got his check, and I'm happy those two are back together. So, well, for this, I don't know if they're doing that. Well, I'm glad
they better not do another Good Burger. I know that.
What if they do a Keenan Kel reunion? I would love that. Oh, here it goes. Coolio pass.
Yeah. Well, damn, that's not how we wanted to end this.
That's not. I'm so sorry. Let's bring it back up. I'm sorry. Bring it back up.
If you enjoyed this review, let us know what you thought of Good Burger 2. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment. Get into the conversation. I do my best to respond to everyone that comments. So if you have something to say, we want to chat it up. Let's do it. Let's talk about the nostalgia of the thing. Did you enjoy this? And let me know if I'm right, because my theory is that if I was a parent, I probably would have enjoyed this more watching it with my kid. And I think that is something I can't speak to right now. I think that's part of the formula for the film. Again, you can find Ubiquitous Blacks all over the social media, ubiquitousblacks@gmail.com. You can email us and like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. And you know where you can find me: Instagram @TeaRon World and TikTok @TeaRon with 2_ Tiera.
Yes, please. You can find you also on Instagram at it's Tiera Janee, @ITSTIERA JANEE, and then also at all things Ubiquitous Blacks, as my boy TeaRon says. Please engage with us, leave some comments. Also, send recommendations our way. We're coming up toward the end of the year. We need more things to look forward to and to review. 2024 is coming. New stuff should be dropping. Y'all, send us some stuff. We are looking forward to it because, listen, it is hard putting together a list that we feel like is well-rounded and, all the things. So please send us some stuff. And also international stuff, seriously, because, love it.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. That being said, all this talk of burgers and stuff has made me hungry. Very hungry. And we still got some leftover Thanksgiving food.
Sure do.
Which I'm going to heat up and make happen. Tiera, I have enjoyed this little burst of nostalgia.
Yes.
Let's not do this again.
Add that in.
Woo.
We out, y'all. We gotta go eat. We're hungry.
Peace.
Bye, y'all.